This is the MGB. This four-cylinder compact British roadster was one of the first mass-produced British sports cars to really achieve sales success here in the United States. And worldwide, it's actually the second best-selling roadster of all time, behind only the Mazda Miata, with a whopping 500,000 plus cars sold from 1962 until it ended production in 1980. But actually, what if I told you that wasn't where the MGB's story ended? Because in 1992, the MGB was back. Now, however, with a surprising twist. Gone was its 1.8-liter inline-4, and what it was replaced with was something far more sinister. Now stuffed under the hood was a Land Rover V8, and this changed the entire character of the car. The happy-go-lucky MGB was no more. This was now the MG RV8, a car that was really a 90s rendition of the Shelby Cobra formula. Stuff V8 into a handsome yet lightweight British roadster, and that gave you a fantastic bit of performance for not a ton of money. Yet the RV8 today is often overlooked, when it was actually maybe one of the most important cars for MG. But before we dive into the RV8, we need to have some backstory on the MGB and the reason why the RV8 even came out over a decade after the initial MGB had been discontinued. The MGB story itself starts in the early 60s, a time when the British sports cars were making waves internationally, but had yet to fully conquer the mainstream market in the United States. MG, who was a cornerstone of the British car industry since the 20s, was renowned for producing charming, lightweight sports cars that offered engaging driving experiences at relatively affordable prices. By the late 1950s, however, their flagship model, the MGA, was beginning to feel a bit outdated in terms of design, performance, and practicality. MG needed a successor that would embody the spirit of the brand while also making it appeal to a broader, more global audience. The result was the MGB. But first, a quick message from this video's sponsor, Viafo. Now, if you've been looking up dash cams to purchase, then you've probably heard their name pop up in conversation before. This camera you can see in my hand here is the brand new Viafo A329, and this is their newest 4K 60 FPS dash cam, and it's the successor to their highly successful A229 camera that they released before. And yes, you heard that right. This little camera right here captures in 4K and shoots at 60 frames per second. That means you're not just getting incredible picture quality, but you're also getting buttery smooth footage, capturing every single moment of your drive in crystal clear detail for when you need it most. With capabilities to save your footage with an external SSD card, or thanks to its Wi-Fi 6 technology, you can actually just upload the footage directly from the camera to your computer without having to plug it in. The A329 dashcam kit comes with a front and rear camera, both of which use Sony's advanced Starvis 2 chips, and they help cut down on blur and excess noise that so many other dash cams just can't seem to do. Plus, it's got HDR for night driving, which means there's no more overexposed lights in the street messing up your footage. And the best part? Well, installing the A329 into your vehicle is a breeze. Just determine the spot where you want to place the camera, use the provided adhesive to put the camera onto the actual windscreen or rear window, then plug it in, tuck the wires out of the way, and you're ready to go. So if you're ready to upgrade your road game, the Viafo A329 dashcam is an absolutely amazing option to do so with. And right now, for a limited time, you can use the code RARECARS329 to save 5% at checkout. Just go ahead and click that link below in the description. And thank you to Viafo for sponsoring. But now, back to the video. Introduced in 1962, unlike the body-on-frame MGA, the MGB employed a much more modern unibody construction, reducing the car's weight and improving its rigidity. Its sleek minimalistic styling, penned under the direction of MG's chief designer, Sid Enever, was contemporary yet timeless, giving the car a broad appeal and the looks to last without changes for years. Practical considerations like increased interior space and a relatively large trunk for such a small car also helped it win over buyers who wanted a sports car that was as functional as it was fun. The MGB caught on for several reasons. First, it offered genuine sports car dynamics. It was nimble, it was open top, and it was a responsive car to drive. And it was at a price point that was attainable for a wide range of enthusiasts. Secondly, it was really simple, and this simplicity and reliability made it easy to own and maintain, particularly in export markets like the United States. At the heart of the MGB was its 1.8-liter inline-4 engine, a pushrod design derived from the British Motor Corporation's B-Series power plant. This engine was simple, small, but effective, producing 95 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque in the early models that was then paired through a 4-speed manual transmission. Though modest by today's standards, these figures were more than adequate for the MGB's lightweight construction and focused driving dynamics. And at just 2,000 pounds, it was great fun to drive even without gobs of power on tap. And funny enough, there was actually also an early MGB V8 variant as well, which is known as the MGB GT V8, that was produced from 1973 to 1976. The car never made it here stateside, and it was actually based on the hardtop MGB GT variant, but it did feature a 137 horsepower, 3.5-liter Rover V8 under the hood, which in and of itself was a modified version of the Buick 215 V8, which they sold the rights to the Brits. Nonetheless, this was the first and only factory V8 MGB offered until the RV8 some 20 years later, and just about 2,500 of the GT V8 cars were made. For all of the MGBs, their suspension setup combined an independent front suspension with coil springs and lever arm shocks, while the rear used a traditional live axle with leaf springs. This was a simple yet cost-effective arrangement that gave a good balance of comfort and sporty handling for not all that much money, and braking was provided by front discs and rear drums. The MGB's affordability, spirited performance, and stylish looks struck a chord with American buyers in specific. During its production run, approximately half of the 500,000 MGBs sold were made and delivered to the US, cementing its status as a cultural icon on both sides of the Atlantic. The MGB became a staple of the 60s and 70s car scene, embodying the idea of accessible motoring freedom. Whether cruising the coastal highways or carving the winding country roads, the MGB's charm transcended its modest power figures, and its affordability made widespread adoption very easy. In 1980, though, the MGB was discontinued, because British Leyland, who owned MG at the time, felt that the MGB still being available for purchase was actually hurting the sales of their newly released Triumph TR7 sports car. Turns out, there was actually no saving the TR7, because even after the MGB was discontinued, it still proved to be a poor seller. Nonetheless, that was the initial end of the MGB. By the late 1980s, the MG nameplate had now become a shadow of its former self. Lobbed under Rover's ownership, MG at this point was mostly relegated to badge-engineered hatchbacks, and its reputation as a builder of spirited sports cars was fading fast. Meanwhile, the sudden global success of the Mazda Miata reignited interest in the small, lightweight roadster segment, one that MG had once dominated. The Miata's popularity was a wake-up call for Rover. The world still loved roadsters, and the MG brand still carried significant nostalgia and credibility in that arena. However, Rover needed time to develop a brand new MG Roadster, the car that would eventually become the mid-engined MGF, which launched in 1995. In the interim, they devised a plan to revive the brand's image and capitalize on the growing roadster craze. And that plan was to introduce the iconic MGB, but with a modern twist. This would serve as a stopgap product and a halo car to reignite passion for the MG marque. Thus, the MG RV8 was born. Announced in 1992, the MG RV8 was a reimagining of the MGB, blending the classic Roadster's heritage with modern performance and luxury. To keep costs down, Rover turned to the British Motor Heritage Corporation, whom they also owned, which had now been reproducing MGB body shells for restoration purposes, as some of the initial cars had gotten pretty old and in need of restoration. The new RV8 retained much of the original MGB styling cues and proportions, but it was modernized with a smoother, more muscular set of bodywork that was more akin to the 90s than the 60s. Flared wheel arches, updated bumpers, and a more refined smooth grille gave the RV8 a sophisticated yet familiar presence. And even though it does look very similar to the initial MGB, only a small percentage of the RV8's body components were truly interchangeable with the MGB, but its lineage was unmistakable. Visually, it was more of an evolution akin to the one that the Porsche 911 went under. And underneath the hood, the RV8 was a significant departure from its predecessor. Gone was the simple 1.8-liter inline-4 of the MGB. In its place was a 3.9-liter Rover V8, the spiritual successor to the Buick-derived engine used in the initial MGB GT V8 that we mentioned earlier. Only now it had more displacement, fuel injection, and modern refinements. As a result, this engine now produced 190 horsepower and 234 foot-pounds of torque. Paired with a 5-speed manual gearbox, which was Rover's R380 unit, the RV8 could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.9 seconds, and could top out at 135 miles per hour, which was a drastic improvement over any of the original MGB versions. One of the most striking differences, though, between the MGB and the RV8 was the RV8's focus on luxury. While the MGB was a relatively Spartan roadster designed for affordable fun, the RV8 was crafted with upmarket buyers in mind, as the brand's new temporary halo car. The interior was a far cry from the no-frills cabin of its predecessor. It featured Connolly leather upholstery, plush carpets, and a beautifully trimmed wood dashboard. It was a lovely place to spend time. Externally, the RV8 rode on 15-inch alloy wheels wrapped in wider tires that gave it a much more planted stance. The suspension on the RV8 was also heavily revised compared to the MGB's, but at its core, it was still the same setup with a live axle rear. Only now, the setup offered a more composed ride, while retaining the classic roadster feel. Disc brakes remained at the front, as did the drum brakes in the rear. But all of these improvements did mean that the RV8 weighed significantly more than the original MGB, now tipping the scales at approximately 2,700 pounds. This additional 700 pounds in heft came from the larger engine, the new luxury appointments, and the reinforced body structure. But the V8's ample torque ensured that the car still felt lively and engaging to drive even with the extra weight. And funny enough, with all the luxury focus on the RV8, the car still maintained its unassisted manual steering and even roll-up crank windows. Priced at 26,000 pounds, or about $40,000 at the time, the MG RV8 was positioned as a niche product. And this high price did limit its appeal in the UK, where it was more expensive than a brand new Jaguar XJS and multiple times more expensive than a brand new Miata. However, the car found a surprising fan base in Japan, where some of these British roadsters held a cult-like following. Of the 1,983 MG RV8s produced between 1993 and 1995, over 75% were exported to Japan, with the remainder being sold in the UK and a handful of other markets. When you look at the numbers, you really cannot compare the success of the RV8 to the MGB, as the RV8 and the MGB are totally different. The MGB was designed with mass market appeal in mind. The RV8 was never intended to be a big seller. It served its purpose, though. It reminded enthusiasts of MG's sports car heritage and paved the way for the more affordable and modern MGF, which was actually a pretty big sales success for MG. And it's funny when you think about it because the RV8 in a lot of ways really was just a factory-built resto mod MGB before the term resto mod even existed. It's just such a quirky car, and the fact that they even thought to re-release what was essentially a dinosaur of a platform as a halo car to drum up hype for an all-new car is absolutely nuts. And that's why I love this car so much. And with just 2,000 being made, it's pretty rare. So let me know in the comments down below if you've heard of this car before you watch this video. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me out. Until next time, enthusiasts.